Hey everyone, welcome back to HD Reddit Reads. And today's topic is going to be what is considered socially unacceptable for no reason. Let's get into it. Being the first person to get up from your chair when snacks are brought into the meeting room. There's always that one here that does it though, so others can get in line. Because I'm scared of looking like I'm starving or like I'm fat. Accepting something that someone offered you. This is mostly in the Middle East, I think, but it's really frustrating for foreigners because a foreigner will never know the correct time to accept an offer. If someone offers to buy you dinner, there's a very delicate balance of refusing and accepting. You have to refuse like 4 to 5 times, but if you refuse more than that, you'll also offend the other person. But if you don't refuse it several times adamantly, then you'll look greedy and selfish. If they fail to offer it insistently, they'll look like they didn't mean the offer and that they aren't generous. A lot of Middle Easterns are shocked when they come to the Western country and they say something like, "Hey, let me pay for this." And the other person says, "Oh, okay, thanks." It takes a while to get used to the fact that Westerners will just take you up on the offer. At first it feels like Westerners are greedy and that they want to take advantage of your generosity, but that's not the case. It's just a different culture and it makes more sense to accept an offer straight up, instead of a whole theater production first. But Middle Eastern people need that theater production to feel everyone's been proper and polite. Using swing/playground equipment as an adult. I freaking love going on the swings. I'm 30 and it still fascinates me that I can quickly and easily get 10 to 15 feet or higher in the air with some simple leg movement. One day, I was at a fairly deserted local park on the swings having the time of my life. Suddenly, Karen shows up with her 2 ankle biters, hands on her hip, and yells at me, "What are you doing on there? The swings are for the kids, not adults." My tax dollars pay for these swings, and there's no sign saying that I can't, so I'll use them as much as I damn well please whenever I want. How much tax did your little Jonathan and little Kimberlyberg pay last year? None? Guess they can't use the swings either. Edit. My poor inbox. Thank you, kind metal-giving strangers. Some more info. I'm in BC, Canada. The swings were not the crappy weak ones, but had the thick chains and rubber seats. I'm sure they are more than capable of holding my 190-pound self. I didn't tell Karen to F off, but I did tell her to have a nice day. Don't let your inner kid die. Nothing wrong with getting a little high now and then. Not answering your own door. When there's a salesman at someone's door, they won't want to answer, but they will act like no one is home. And be really quiet so the person outside the door doesn't hear them. But it's your house. I could just stare at the salesman out the window as he rings my bell. Who cares? It's my house. I don't have to answer my own door for whatever reason I deem acceptable. You came to my house, not the other way around. My neighbor also came to my house the other day, rang my doorbell, and I was trying to put my son down for a nap, so I didn't go down. And then she messaged my wife and was like, "Hey, your garage is open. I can see someone is home. Why didn't you answer?" So then my wife messages me, asking why I didn't answer. What the F, for whatever reason I choose. I had a good one this time, but maybe I'm asleep. Maybe I'm taking a shower, or a shit, or in the backyard, or maybe I'm scratching my nuts on the couch. Maybe F yourself. It's my house. You took your shot to see if I'd answer, and I didn't. Move on. Playing pretend as an adult without kids involved. There is nothing wrong with an adult man building with Legos and setting up an epic adventure with them that plays out in his head as something amazing. It's escapism, and very calming even in adults. It stimulates the mind to have a self-made adventure where anything is what I want. Aw man, this is exactly what Dungeons & Dragons is for. It takes 4 to 6 grown-ass dudes sitting around playing pretend and makes it socially accept. So anyway, in answer to OP, middle-aged people playing Dungeons & Dragons. Leaving without an acceptable song and dance about why you are leaving. With leaving because you have basically reached your limit, with socializing being not a good enough reason. People who can stand to be around other people for huge amounts of time, more power to you. But me, I can't do that, and I don't want to have to make up an excuse to do so. Refusing generosity. It's perfectly alright to politely decline, even though others would vilify you for being ungrateful and cold. Edit. I am pleasantly surprised to learn everyone's perspectives on this. It seems to be different in other countries. The world doesn't seem so small right now. I was raised to always refuse generosity. It's crazy how it varies depending on country/family. Same. I was taught that people are only offering to be polite, and don't actually want to do what they're offering. This one is super cultural. Pooping in a public bathroom. It's not necessarily unacceptable, but it's something that's always elicits a reaction of discomfort and often disapproval. I've definitely heard people loudly exclaim that they could tell someone just took a poop in the bathroom acting all disgusted. I mean, they didn't poop on the floor, they went to the proper pooping receptacle. It just shouldn't mean anything and shouldn't be worth commenting on. People poop in bathrooms. If you're in a public bathroom and you didn't know it, that's where people poop. Stop acting surprised when a bathroom smells like people did what people do in bathrooms. In some places, calling in sick because it's letting down the team or whatever. F off. I'm sick as a dog. There's little I will accomplish other than feeling like death warmed up, so you aren't missing out on much. Plus, I could spread whatever I got to other coworkers, then we're all sick. If I am sick, you shouldn't want me to work, because then everyone else will get effing sick, and it ruins productivity in the office. The only possible reason for demanding a doctor's note is if you for some reason think I am lying about being sick. And considering I'm sick, I'm not going to get one because F you, I'm sick. So what makes you think I'm leaving the house for a stupid bit of paper? And to be clear, I'm not talking about you, the commenter, I'm talking about the bosses, etc. at work locations. Having fun as an adult. Fun has no expiration date. You don't suddenly no longer qualify for fun and have to live a life of watching the news and drinking coffee. People shame adults for doing fun things, and that's absolutely effing bullcrap. Yes, I'm 38 and I enjoy swings, jumping on trampolines, having a balloon with helium. People look at me like I'm mad or being childish, but when they try it with me, they enjoy it too. There are a ton of rules around clothing that are completely arbitrary nonsense, and I don't even just mean workplace dress codes, and gendered clothing that are obvious bullcrap. Even casual situations, jeans and a flannel shirt are normal, but if you were to wear plaid flannel pajama pants and a denim shirt, you would look psychotic. That's just an excuse for you to go out and buy groceries in your pajamas, and I respect it. Skipping as an adult. It's unfortunate because it is faster than walking and much more fun than running. I had an employee 15 years ago who was walking out of the office the same time I was. He was a middle-aged fella with a couple of kids. He started skipping. I said, "Dennis, why are you skipping?" He responded, "When's the last time you skipped? It feels great." Dennis lived in a better dimension than many of us. Laying down in public. Edit. Out of all the replies, nobody has mentioned the way to fix this. A pillow. Simply bust out a pillow, and then you get half as many weird looks. Source likes to lay. If you lie down on the floor in McDonald's, you get to meet the manager. My dad gets super offended when I put my elbows on the table. I still don't know why. Edit. For those who are wondering if it's because my dad was beaten for not having table manners, no. While my grandpa was a drunk, he didn't beat his children. Plus, my dad puts his elbows on the table and doesn't reprimand anyone but me. He flicks or hits my elbows off the table when I do it. I always thought this was a stupid rule that made dining more difficult, and therefore I tend to ignore it, depending on the setting. However, one day I put my elbows on a table that had a central pedestal instead of 4 legs, and split everyone's drinks. I instantly thought about how the rule makes sense now that I know why. But I think the better rule would be, don't put your weight on the table until you are certain of its strength and stability. 40+ male at a playground. Yes, I have no partner. Yes, that's my 6-year-old having a blast. No, I'm not a pedo, but thank you for your questions and passive glares. Talking about the money you make / your salary. I've talked about salary with coworkers a few times in my career. A couple times I found out I was underpaid. I asked for more money on my next review, and I was given what I asked. Sometimes companies overpay new hires when they are desperate for somebody good. The worst thing that can happen is their best, most experienced employees found out about it. Salary secrecy is always beneficial to the company, never to the employee. Therapy. Life is stressful, work is stressful. You don't have to be mentally ill to see a therapist. If you are mentally ill, congratulations on working up the courage to do so. Wearing the same clothes 2 days in a row. I'm from the States, and I visited Italy when I was a teenager. It was so weird to me at the time that people there wore the same clothes a few days in a row, but now I think, why not? If the clothes aren't dirty or smelly, they're still good to wear. Wait, that's the thing? I wear my clothes 2 to 3 days in a row, but then again I live in Europe where it's cold, and I almost don't sweat. Didn't know that was a thing. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. And if you want to visit the original threads, I'll link them in the description. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.